Hello and welcome to the United Community Channel. My name is Jack and we have a Here We Go from Fabrizio Romano. Patrick Dorgu to Manchester United. Here we go. It's the first Ruben Amorim signing and it's the first signing of the January transfer window. It's not done and dusted yet. Verbal agreement is in place. However, it's pretty much done and dusted really, isn't it? And look, it's good news nonetheless, even though, we're talking about 4 days left in the January transfer window, and we've made our first signing when, Manchester United linger in the bottom half of the table. You would hope that we could get more done. But anyway, look, the first one is in. Hopefully that's a domino effect for a couple more to maybe arrive and maybe leave before the end of the January transfer window. But we're going to jump into it, guys. Please smash a like on the video if you haven't done so already. Do hit that subscribe button. And I've got some interesting news about an upcoming podcast for those who haven't heard as well. I'll get into that at the very end. So stick around for some good news about that as well, guys. But anyway, we are going to start, of course, with the breaking news from Fabrizio Romano today, and that is in relation to Patrick Dorgu to Manchester United. Here we go. Verbal agreement in place with Lecce. Documents to be checked in the next 24 hours. The fee will be €30 million plus €5 million in add-ons, which are not guaranteed, which is important. We'll get into that in a moment. Long-term contract agreed days ago with the player. The first signing for Ruben Amorim. So, what do we think? And look, I mean, first and foremost, I think, it's a good signing in relation to what we are looking to do. And what are we looking to do? We are looking to get players in and we are looking to, bolster the squad for Ruben Amorim. We know that left wing back and wing back in general has been a bit of an issue for Manchester United this season. And it's been one that Ruben Amorim has quite quickly come out and said that this is what he wants and this is what he needs. And we look like we lack a little bit of balance within our side, don't we, over the last few weeks and few months. And I think it's quite clear to see when, that stat, and maybe I think it's changed after the Fulham game the other night, but I think maybe up until the Fulham game in the league, Manchester United hadn't scored in open play when Delot and Mazraoui both played together as wing-backs. Now, that is kind of, yeah, I mean, it's not the best, really, isn't it? It's not the best. And look, I mean, what can we do? That's the card that Ruben Amorim has been dealt. He's been brought in as Manchester United manager, and he knew that there was going to need to be signings made before you're going to see a real progression of how he identifies his teams playing and how he wants them to play and so on and so forth. And look, that's quite understandable. So look, Dorgu is the first signing. Look, we knew Manchester United have been in the market for him since pretty much, pretty much the start of the transfer window, and there was a number of different names. After maybe, I would say it was into the second week of the transfer window, this guy landed on Manchester United's radar. And look, he was obviously there before. However, it's taken us this long to get over the line. And that has been down to negotiating. Manchester United have been negotiating a price for this player. And look, a lot of maybe tetchiness within the fan base over the last couple of weeks in relation to not getting the deal over the line. However, we've also said in the past, haven't we, and I think this is quite apt at the moment, is Manchester United for the best part of a decade were pushed around in the transfer market. And we said during the summer, when Ineos were in for their first transfer window, that, we didn't want to be taken advantage of again. And it looks like United have got a good deal for this player. When we're talking €30 million here, 24 million pounds for, a young up-and-coming, quite sought-after wing-back, and quite a talented one as well. So, look, I mean, I don't mind having to wait a little bit extra to get players in if it means Manchester United are, getting a bit of normality back in the transfer window and a bit of their reputation back more than anything else, where clubs will say, well, we can't really push Manchester United around, right there. And a lot of clubs know, including Lecce, who've been negotiating this deal on their behalf as well. They're quite in the know that Manchester United are desperate for a wing-back, especially a left wing-back with, Luke Shaw being made of glass, Malacia not being good enough, and Delo being a right full-back rather than a left wing-back. So they know that they hold an awful lot of the balls when it comes to the negotiating. So I like to see the fact that, we've got quite a good deal here. Even the €5 million add-ons, they are not guaranteed. So it's obviously performance-based. Now, I don't know whether they are easily met or not. They could be, once you get, 150 appearances, you owe us another 1.5 million or whatever the case may be. But I like the fact that they're not guaranteed, because that means that United have been negotiating quite well. And I'm happy for it. But let's see what you guys think. Let's jump into the comment section here and see what everybody is saying. D is in. He says, I say no. I'm happy with it to an extent, but is this what we've become, bringing in a wing back 3 days from the end of the window when we're desperate? Yes, D. Okay. We can't flick a switch and be Manchester United in 2006 again. You know what I mean? With Sir Alex Ferguson at the helm and we had the pulling power. We're not that club anymore. And I think Ineos understand that, and I think the backroom team understand that. Wilcox, Barada, Vavel, whoever's scouting these players, they understand that. We can't go out and sign, an Alphonso Davies as our new left back. We can't do that. He's not going to do it. He's either going to sign a new deal with Bayern Munich or he's going to go to Real Madrid. It's as simple as that. We can't compete on that level anymore. So yeah, this is what we've become, and I think we've got to get used to it, and we've got to find them diamonds in the rough, I think. Ben is in as well. Good to see you. So no more, not that I'm unhappy with it, but more that I am shocked at where we are. United Supporters TV says, I don't think he will start, Jack. Well, maybe not straight away. I mean, he's 20 years of age, so I'm sure he's got a lot to learn, and we're going to jump into his stats in a moment. This is going to be a shorter than normal stream, guys, because we're focusing mainly on this. But Ben says happy with it, but don't think it's going to fix much. Well, it has to fix something, and I think that's the thing we need to focus on more than anything else. We've got an issue at left back. Does this fix our issue? It mightn't fix it entirely, but it will more than likely improve it for us. So I'm okay with that, and let's see how we get on with him. But again, like I said, this is not an 70, 80, 85 million pound signing. This is a 24 million pound signing, and he's a young kid, and by all accounts he's a very good player. Like when you're talking about Napoli wanted him as well. Napoli are leading the Serie A at the moment, and albeit I understand that Serie A is not to the same level that the Premier League is, but you're going to the champions, well, the league leaders. So yeah, but the thing about it is that they were happy to take him and loan him back, and for the remainder of the season. But he obviously wanted Manchester United. Let's see. Jock says, I think he could be a good player, definitely an upgrade. In fact, he is a left back with a left foot, exactly, and he's not bloody injured. Touch wood. Everybody touch wood at the moment, because yeah, we know what that means. I'm excited at the price. Isn't the end of the world if he comes good as a first team starter. Are we involved with anyone else as United? Well, there's rumours there. We'll go through some of them in a moment. D says 24 million quid. He better be worth at least 24. Why can we not though, Jack? He says build a time machine. bring the first team forward. Yeah, well, that would be fantastic, wouldn't it? Absolutely. Ben says, I'm happy with the move. We seem to have some good negotiations going off rather than just throwing money around. It's going to take time, boys. We have been ran into the ground. Patience is key. Yeah, and I think that's something that all fans find it difficult to take on board. Me included. Patience. And we've been saying patience now for, we were saying patience when David Moyes came in. We were saying patience when Louis van Gaal came in. Jose Mourinho, Ollie, Ten Hag, now Amorim, But this is the biggest change that we've seen in Manchester United since Sir Alex Ferguson left in the past 12 months. New ownership coming in. They had their first transfer window in the summer. Now this is obviously their second one in January. And we know it's more difficult to do business in January. It always is. You know what I mean? Teams don't go out and sign too many players in January, unless you're Man City and you're breaking all the rules, allegedly. So we do need patience. We need to get on board with whatever is cooking with Ineos. We've got to be on board with it, because we've got no other choice. We've got new owners. It's got to work, and if it doesn't, we're back to square one. You know what I mean? We will be back to square one if it doesn't work. Now, I want to talk a little bit about... Sorry, let me get through just the final few comments. D says... not throwing massive money at non-fits is a good thing. Glad more than anything that we're taking no shit, says D. Party Poopers says, delighted with it. It's a position that needed to be addressed. Get us a striker now, please. Yes, well, we've seen over a couple of transfer windows, and I think we've seen it in the summer one as well, didn't we? Where it was a kind of a domino effect. Now, so what happens is once one is signed, and all of a sudden the rest kind of just trickle on. But I think with this January transfer window, more than anything, I think it will require a sale for that domino effect to start. Now we know what the talking points have been. It's been around Alejandro Garnacho and maybe Marcus Rashford leaving and getting his wage off the book. Maybe Casemiro, who there has been some reports suggesting that there has been some interest in him over the last few days, and we'll get into that in a few minutes as well. But I think the domino effect is basically going to be if we sell somebody. You know what I mean? Yeah, and if that happens, then fantastic. But if it doesn't, we're gonna have to sit tight. We really are going to have to sit tight, and that's a bit of a concern. But anyway, look, guys, I want to talk a little bit about Dorgu and the type of player that we're going to be getting, because obviously he's a young, I suppose, up and coming, hungry player, with plenty of potential, but by no means the finished article, it has to be said. And look, as you can see on the screen here, this is the scouting report for Dorgu. Anybody on TikTok, if you want to get involved, we're over on YouTube. Link is on the homepage. Come on over. We've got all of these things up on the screen over there. But for anybody watching on YouTube, you can see the stats for him. Now, this is as a fullback, so a slightly more defensive role than he would normally play, obviously as an attacking wingback. But nonetheless, some very good stats here. Anything in green, as we know, is very good. So non-penalty goals, he's right up there versus other fullbacks, which means he's more advanced. He's getting into the opposition box. So it's 0.17 per 90. So it's a goal every 5 to 6 games, basically. Non-penalty goals, that is, which is very good for coming up against fullbacks. His XG goals is very good as well, 98%, quite similar. Total shots, he's in the 95 percentile versus other fullbacks, which again means he's more advanced up the field. So quite good attacking stats there. When it comes to the passing, passes attempted versus other fullbacks is very low. That's 3%. The bottom 3 percentile seems very, very low. There must be an issue with that for some reason. I'm not 100% sure, unless, he must have just never made a pass in the last 12 months. Progressive carries, however, are very good versus other fullbacks. 83%, 88% for touches in the opposition's box, again, which is very good. And we can see here, aerials 1. He's a tall chap, over 6 foot, very athletic, and is very good in the air. Now, if we look at doing this against wingers, then obviously the attacking aspect of his game diminishes, because the wingers and attackers, are better. So we're gonna ignore this because it's not really in the same percentile. I think when you're looking at a wing back, you're more looking at the midfielder tab here. And I think if we look at the midfielder tab, I think it does provide us with probably the most eye-catching stats. We see again non-penalty goals up in 87 percentile, 93 percentile for XG, 86 percentile for shots, 78 percentile for XG and assists. And then we're talking about the midfield area, the progressive carries, the attacking side of his game, 96 percentile for carries. They remain very similar to what it is against fullbacks. And we maintain that really good aerial duels, aerials won, and clearances are good as well. So look, while we've got a very good up-and-coming player signing for Manchester United in a position that we need some good backing in. Sorry, that's the wrong one. We'll get into that in a moment. I do think we are not getting the finished article by any means. We're not getting the finished article at all, and that's okay. I'm completely fine with that. We've spoken an awful lot in the past since Ineos have taken over, and since we've known that we've got new people behind the scenes that are negotiating on deals with us, that we need to be finding these players. You don't want to be going out and signing £80 million left wing backs. You just don't want to be doing that. We need a more sustainable way of signing players over the next couple of years when it comes to balancing the books. Now, Jim Ratcliffe is balancing the books in more than one way, and we know, what's going on behind the scenes with cost cut measures and ticket prices and so on and so forth. But that is something that you can do immediately. You cannot cleanse the playing staff in terms of high wages and high transfer fees overnight. It's going to take 2, 3, 4 years to do that. We spoke about that a lot in depth over the summer. Signing somebody like this guy with bags of potential who could potentially come in. Now, they're not all going to work. But a player coming in, for 24 million that could potentially be your next left wing back for 5 years is a brilliant, brilliant deal and a brilliant, brilliant signing. Like I said, you're taking a chance. Of course you are. But we've spoken in depth that you need to be unearthing these gems as well as maybe sprinkling 1 or 2 players in that are established. Now, and I can understand what a lot of people are going to say. A lot of people are going to say, we need them established players now. And I don't disagree with you. I do not disagree with you. You cannot. Not that you cannot. You very, very, very rarely get them in January. Very rarely get them in January. I would say Bruno Fernandes, and then you're looking at the January where we signed Vidic and Evra in the same January transfer window. And even at that, it took them 6 months. They were useless for months at United. Before they ever really looked like Manchester United players. And I'm listening to Andy Mitten's audio book at the moment, and he's actually what's it called? I'll get it up here. But the section that I'm listening to at the moment is the Patrice Evra section, and he talks in depth about not being settled instantly and not being able to settle instantly. It's called Bring On United, Ferguson's golden generation in their own words. That's what it's called. So if you want to listen to it, it's a very good book. And he speaks about it. So look, I mean, when you're talking about, players not hitting the ground running back in 2005 when United were a well-oiled machine and had real good structure behind them and had a squad that were used to winning, you're not going to get them all right now. You're really not. So, it's going to take some time. But again, like I said, I'm happy that United are doing these kind of deals. And long may they continue, to be quite honest with you. Long may they continue. But again, like I said, they're not all going to be the same, I suppose, level of quality, to be quite honest with you. Anyway, guys, want to move it on a little bit because we've got just gonna go through a couple of different things between now and the end of the show. We're going to do another maybe 10 minutes or so, but I want to talk a little bit about Matthias Tell. Okay, now and this has come out since we've been live. So sorry, now I'm just getting the screen. It's coming out from Plettigol. In relation to the player. Now, what it says is that Manchester United have contacted Bayern Munich about Matthias Tell and are very interested in signing him this summer. Now, what do we think about this? I'm going to get his stats up because, to be quite honest with you, I know that he is probably subject to requirements at Bayern Munich. However, what kind of player would we be getting? He's a left winger. Okay, he's a left winger, 19 years of age, around 30 million euro. He is been touted as. Let me do this for a minute so you can see what I am reading. Now, in terms of stats this season, 13 games played, no goals, 1 assist. So not the greatest stats in the world, to be quite honest with you. He's played 396 minutes. So, look, he hasn't played an awful lot, to be quite honest with you. He's been on the bench an awful lot. If you look down here, anything in yellow is on the bench. And then, we're talking about... Did he get substituted? Yeah, it looks like he did. He got substituted quite early in a lot of these games. They're minutes played. So, I know Chelsea have been looking at this guy as well, but again, look, if we're talking about this guy coming in, it's more than likely going to be if we let somebody go, and somebody go being Alejandro Garnacho. Now, if you're getting £60 million for Alejandro Garnacho to Chelsea and getting Matthias Tell in for 30 million euros, is that a good deal? I'm not too sure, to be quite honest with you, because I don't know enough about this player to give my opinion on it. It's something I'll look into, and we can speak about it maybe tomorrow when we're doing a live, or maybe on Thursday night when we're doing a watch along. But for now, I would be sticking with Garnacho until I can find more information about this. I want to know what you guys think, though. Let's go back through the comments here and see what people are saying. Mario says, I'm happy to see Man U get their defence sorted first. We'll let you away with saying Man U once, but I won't say why, but just research why we don't say Man U. Let's see. Big A says, did we not sign Berbatov in the January window as well? No, Berbatov came, I'm pretty sure Berbatov came in the summer window. Wasn't that the transfer window where he was in the helicopter coming up from London and everybody, Sky Sports News were covering it, and I'm pretty sure that was. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. Dylan is in. Just got in. Dorgu is here. Get in. Brilliant signing. Hope more to come of the same, but we need a few big names as well. Chris says too much money. He says we waited to the end of the window to pathway. We're asking for very Murta and Arnold of them. I slightly disagree, to be honest, Chris, because I think what would have happened is under Murta and Arnold, we would have lost a couple of games at the start of the transfer window and they would have panic bought, and I think they probably would have paid 50 million for Dorgu. But yeah, I mentioned it a few moments ago, but probably before you came in, that I'm happy that United are not getting pushed around in the transfer window anymore. They're holding their own and they're saying, no, this is what we value this player at. So, yeah. Hold on, are we getting Tell? It says D. D is certainly excited about it. Dylan says, Tell's very young. Could be another Highland. We need experienced players in attack. No to Tell, says Chris. We need experienced strikers, not anyone, not any young one, which is understandable as well, given the youth that's in our attack. The lads are rocket, says D. Aside from that, couldn't hit the side of a barn door with a boat. All right, well, then we don't need him. He's a project, says Chris. Yeah, and that's probably something, we would... It's something that United probably would be looking at, if you can... And the thing about it is that, can you offload Garnacho? Now, this is... I don't want Garnacho to go, by the way, but, is this what the hierarchy are thinking? Can we offload Garnacho for 60 million, and get a player in around a similar age for half his price? That, does he suit Amorim's system better? I don't know. It remains to be seen. Anyway, I want to talk finally, guys, about the one and only Casemiro. Reports today coming out from Chris Wheeler have said that Roma have expressed interest in signing Casemiro. His 375 million a week wages are an obstacle. No shit, Chris. There's an outside chance of a deal, but more likely that he stays. I want to know what you guys think about this, because obviously, you know, Casemiro is a big talking point at the moment because of the money he's on, and Rob Dawson has been talking about him as well in ESPN, has said Manchester United will listen to loan offers for Casemiro before Monday's transfer deadline. United are willing to pay a portion of his wages to make the move happen. And again, look, I mean, if Casemiro is not going to be playing, and you know, it looks like Toby Collier is now the rotational player alongside, Ugarte, Menu, whatever the case may be, for them number 6 roles, then I don't see a reason why we wouldn't loan Casemiro out, even if we could get somebody to cover 50% of his wages. If that meant we were paying, 175 grand a week. I know that sounds like an awful lot to be paying for somebody who's not playing at your club, but he's not playing for us anyway. So why don't we take half of 350, 175, and give it to someone else to pay, rather than actually, us paying the full 350 for him to continue to sit on the bench. So, look, that remains to be seen what happens. Again, obviously I made it clear about Casemiro. I love him. I thought he was a brilliant player season 1, completely dropped off a cliff, an absolutely fantastic servant to the game, and he will probably go down as one of them legacy players at Manchester United, like Falcao, and maybe Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Rafael Varane, whatever the case may be. I like him though, and I like his attitude. I like what he stands for as a player. He just came to us too late. It was simple as that. But I would like to move him on permanently if that could happen. And look, if it doesn't happen in January, it will happen in the summer. It 100% will happen in the summer, without a shadow of a doubt. But again, let's see what happens. Guys, want to let you all know a little venture is a new podcast for anybody who hasn't checked it out yet. I started a new podcast with a couple of people in Ireland. Nasty, for anybody, any Irish or maybe UK people that know him. Big food influencer on TikTok. He is a massive Manchester United fan. We've also got Joe McGuckin, who is an actor, comedian, big United fan. We've also got Paul and Iman from the Cult of Cantona. They've got their own Manchester United channel as well. But we've all come together to start a new Manchester United podcast called The Trident, Trident. And episode 1 is now available. I will put a link in the description of the video in a moment. But we're very excited about it at the moment. We've got episode 1 up. We went and done it properly. And we are recording live. Not live. We're recording in a studio. Once a week. So if you do have the opportunity to go and check it out, please do. I'm trying to find the actual link for the channel here. There we go. Bang. Let me put it into the chat. So there we go, guys. Go subscribe to that YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Just search it. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're on YouTube, and we're on Spotify. We're in the process of getting the podcast up on Apple and Amazon as well. So make sure you're tuning in. It's already up and available on the YouTube channel, guys, and it's available on Spotify as well. So please go and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go and follow us on Spotify. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok. And we've got some clips coming up over the next few days of last night's live studio session. So there's going to be a weekly thing, guys. We're hoping to grow it as much as we possibly can. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you get involved. And thanks to everybody who already have. Party Pooper were saying there he already did, so I appreciate it, man. And D is subscribed as well, so appreciate it, guys, as always. But like I said, you will see the clips over the next few days and weeks. If you do, you see my big ugly mug in it alongside some talented people. Just give it a subscribe and a follow, whatever you're watching on. But guys, look, I appreciate you watching. Do smash a like on this video if you haven't done so already. And 11 likes, low numbers tonight. So if you haven't done so, please do hit that like button. It helps the channel out an awful lot. Do hit that subscribe button as well, guys. Like I said, we are on the road to 13,000 subscribers on YouTube. Very, very close. So, you know, keep hitting that subscribe button. It helps us out an awful lot. I do appreciate you watching, guys. I hope you have a good night, a good evening. I will be back. I'll have the match preview tomorrow. I'm not sure whether I'll have a pre-record or whether I'll do a live tomorrow night. Not 100% sure, but either way, we will be back on Thursday with the watch along for the FCSB game. Must win for Manchester United. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll chat to you tomorrow. Take it easy.